Well, it's been a little while since we've had a project on the channel and I got bored, so I decided to bring this one in. It is a 2000 Chevy K3500. It has a 454 big block and a 4L80. It is four-wheel drive. The 4L80 has gone out to pasture and needs to be removed and rebuilt. Kind of been messing about with it for the last few weeks since I got it here. We have 88 to 92 front end on it for the moment. Some fitment issues because it's a cheap replacement. We've got the 4eye set up off 88 to 89, and everything is LED. Kind of more of just give me an idea of the look I want to go for. Also have a GMC front end sitting around that might go on the truck. It's got GMC center caps, not that that matters. And this is a Rust Belt truck, but it's quite solid. Anybody in the Rust Belt already knows. Find rot right there. It's clean as a whistle. On the frame, it's clean. Not much to report there. This was sitting in a junkyard for about 6 years. Somehow it didn't get picked over, and I managed to drag it out thanks to a friend who found it. And since then, I had to throw doors on it because the bottom ends of these things were all plugged up with mud, so they just rotted right out. So these are off of a Florida rig, and all clean, no issues there. So now we're gonna get to the part that we're gonna start putting some content on the channel about. This piece probably sums up what's gonna happen, so if you're not interested in welding, you can just shut off the video. As you can see, a few winters in the last 25 years, done a number on the driver's floor pan on this truck. It's a common enough issue, and this one needs to be addressed ASAP. So this video is kind of just gonna go through the process of improving this section of the floor. You can see you get some work to do up in here. This was all filled completely to here with sand, dirt, and clay. I don't know if they pulled a boat or not with this truck, but I'm sure a little bit of salt was in there too. And you can kind of see where I've marked out areas that I've checked for solidity. This is good. This section here is very thin. Obviously that's not so good either. The big issue with this truck, when I bought it, I had checked everything from the bottom because the interior was all here. It had carpet, seats, everything. And from the bottom, the metal looked perfect. There was one little pinhole, I'd say the size of the nail on my pinky, and that was right here. And I poked it, and came up through the floor. You can hear the crackle. It's very thin. And that moment, I saw the rust hole. I was like, all right, we gotta do a little picking, and started cutting the carpet out. And it's soaking wet. This driver's window on the old door was busted, and according to the yard, they estimate that the truck probably sat in the yard open to the elements with that window down for about 4 years. So that probably didn't help this situation too much. And then travel over to the passenger side. Probably gonna split this up and do a couple of videos. Over here, same thing. kind of a common area. This rots out for two reasons. Either your HVAC box drains fail and it all runs into the floor and soaks your carpet, or you get moisture and salt spray coming up from your front tire and this area just gets blasted. And I believe it's a combination of both. As you can see, I've pulled the seam sealer out in here to kind of assess what's going on. And what's going to end up happening is I'm going to make a section, make this piece, and then take this section and fold it into it, and then stitch weld them on the other side. I'm also looking into panel bond to see if it's any better. And luckily, I don't have to go into here. I went through this on the bottom side, and the rust ends right here, and it's all solid up through here, up into the tunnel. It's kind of a good thing the interior came out of this truck, because it was so engulfed in ash and tar and oil from cigarette use over the years. It was just downright disgusting. You almost needed a mask to be inside this truck with the windows up. It was so bad, and found a lot of mold as well, so it all needed to go. There's a red interior I have on hand that's going to go into this. The only thing that's really going to be noticed, besides the color, what's going to be noticeably different is this piece. My dash is for a 95 to 96, so this comes down, and you got a couple like useless cut retainers right here, and this whole unit you don't see, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of an ugly piece anyway, in my opinion, but that's really what we're looking at there. Also probably going to see some content when this truck goes into paint, as well as disc brake conversion on the rear. These were locked up solid. The truck could not move at all. I think that might be part of the reason that the transmission's bad. Someone really butchered doing the brake job. Under the hood, we got a good running 454. Just got through doing manifolds on it. They're just some cheap manifolds from the people that brought us viruses and other problems. But there they are. We'll see how long they last before they crack like the other set. And you can also see the carnage of the rust going on the firewall and down in here below the heater core line. You can see just nothing, blown right out. So the thing today, and I'm probably not gonna do much footage on it because it's not that interesting, is taking the dash out, because I want as much room as possible to remove all those pieces and clean everything and put in new metal. And we will see how that goes. I'll probably do a few progressive videos. I'm not going to video the whole process because there's a lot of kind of like diddly work where it's just a fit it up, make a couple measurements, take it out, trim it, put it back in, trim it, and I don't think anybody has the attention span to watch that. So just gonna go through it and post what I can, and hopefully everybody enjoys it. All right, so we're gonna get into it right now. Okay, a little side distraction. Ended up having to remove the dash in order to get under to where the firewall is for fixing up some of the issues there with the rust, and decided it's time to swap harnesses over and get the new dashboard, well, new to me dashboard, squared away. As I said before, you can see some differences. About to find out what has to be altered in the harness to fit. And as you can see, got everything gutted and tons and tons of room to work. And then over here is the issue I was talking about before. As you can see, got some issues there that have to be addressed. Very easy to do with absolutely nothing here. And should go relatively smooth and go from there. So to anybody who might be doing a dash conversion in their truck, a little bit of information, maybe it'll be helpful for you. If you're gonna go to a 95/96 dash in a 97 or newer, you have to take this piece of scaffolding. This is the one off the 96, excuse me, off the 95. And as you can see, there's no additional bracket coming off back here, because on the newer trucks, this one being a 2000, they have this module right here, and it's got two 10 mils with studs. So simply drill out the rivets and put this on and it'll be good. Well, good morning. It's another day. As you can see, we're making a Flintstone vehicle. Might even go a little faster. And here's the carnage. As you can see, you look at the bottom, it really isn't terrible. Obviously, it was in fact terrible, but not the worst one I've seen. Anyway, currently working on the firewall, putting in a new piece. Currently just working this piece of sheet steel. I believe it's a 16 gauge, a little thicker than factory. So challenging to work with as far as bending and cutting goes. So the grinder is getting a lot of time today. Snips not so much, but the fit is stupid camera. Fit's pretty good. So just gonna do a little final trimming on that, get that stitched in. So a little progress report. There we go. Not the most beautiful welds in the world, but they're solid. So we got the firewall patched. Looking down here at this mess, this is the lip of the floor section that's I had to make, and I'm using panel bond to press it to the firewall. And if you have any, well, I guess it's a good time for an update. I've been chipping away at this one. Yesterday was a wash due to heavy rain, but there we go. Firewall's all done and the floor is stitched in. The welds aren't great, but not the worst thing in the world ever. I'm not grinding them or anything. It's just a floor. It's gonna be under carpet. Just gonna hit it with some seam sealer, call it a day. Currently working through figuring out the drip rail. Kind of seeing what my options are. Originally, I was going to cut this basically where you see it's open now, but come over and take the rocker with it and just put a piece in as a whole. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and thinking that maybe that's not the greatest idea, as I could probably get away with just taking a piece off my donor panel and popping it in here. I do have a bit of the inner rocker still left right here, and to my surprise, it's not as thin as I anticipated. Like one tough spot here,
but the rest of it is thick enough that the welder should bite to it without too much trouble. And then up in here, it won't be a problem at all. This is just quick buzzes through here the whole way. So we're gonna get into that, and you'll see in a bit what I end up doing. Well, I got another update. Can't quite remember what was in the last one, but floor's in, and so is the drip rail, and the welder is out of gas. But it went in pretty good. Just doing a final section here. Unfortunately, the piece I cut was not quite long enough, so ended up getting another floor section so I can do the passenger side where the pinch weld is. But this is the drip edge off of the passenger, so it's usually here, but you just flip it, drop it in, and it's gonna work just fine. So I'll get that burned in and do another update. And we're back. As you can see, stitched in, good to go. So we have a drip edge again, drip rail, whatever you want to call it. Crap collector is probably the best term for it. But driver's side's done. The next focus of this is the passenger side. Fender's off for this reason, and you can see pinch weld on this side is wasted, to say the least. And as you can see, daylight basically the whole way, good right up into there. That's why we have this piece, a Chevy Tahoe. It looks shitty, it's really not. So, go from there. And we're halfway through the passenger side. This one was awful to do. Part of it is the complex movements, but it seemed like every cut made was an issue, so there's a few remedies in there. And yeah, it does look like crap, because it is crap. Currently remaking this piece, so it actually turned out pretty good. The bend follows almost perfect. I'm gonna use panel bond again for the edges. As you can see, the vice grips are holding it in. A little overhang here, which is fine, and a couple little flanges to compensate for that panel being an absolute nightmare. That's it. Well, we're done. As you can see, that one's stitched in. The haggard stuff hanging right there is sealer. And this piece took longer than expected just because it's been very cold. So it took a while for everything to set. As you can see, that orange is undercoat. The whole floor is done in it. Went through and sanded down everything. As you can see, my footprints are present. But this stuff works really nice. It gives you a good finish, kind of grippy. You can see the patchwork over there. It ties in really nice. And then the thing today is fixing the roof. These roofs are large, and GM didn't really do it very well, so they flex and dance around like a washboard up and down. So let me zoom out. So you put a little piece of foam up above this rail, and it stiffens them up a lot, but I don't know if it picks up on camera. But they move quite a bit, so now we're going to remedy that.